Quack, 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 no!
What is up, people? My name is Shoquafina, and we are back with some more Pokemon, finally. The GPL is having a new season. We just finished the draft last week, and I wanted to make this video to go over the team and just show everyone what we're going to be doing and why I picked what I picked. Just give you a better feel for the season, which should be coming out very, very shortly. Anyway, the way this is working is we all had one Mega Pokemon that we had to pick, as well as 3 potential Z-Move users, which means at the end of the draft, we had to list which 3 of our Pokemon would be eligible to hold Z-Crystals, and of course only 1 Pokemon per battle can use a Z-Crystal, so we have to prep accordingly and properly to sort of guess which one we believe our opponent is going to be bringing as their Z-Crystal user. So that should make it a bit more interesting. We did one that was off YouTube. It was kind of on the DL just to test out Gen 7 and all that, and we only had 1 Z-Crystal user, and it was very, very, very predictable. So I think this is a bit better. It's more realistic, because in reality, when you're going on like the ladder on Showdown, it could be any Pokemon holding a Z-Crystal. You don't really know. So I just like this a bit better. It adds more variety, and as far as our team goes, I could bring all 3 Pokemon that are eligible to hold Z-Crystals every single week and be absolutely fine, and then my opponent will have to guess from there what they think I'm going to bring, or which Pokemon they think I'm going to be bringing the Z-Crystal on. So that's enough introduction. Let's just jump into the Pokemon here. I picked 4th overall in the draft, and I wanted either Mega Lopunny or Mega Mawile, but obviously, as you can see on my screen, I didn't get them. They went 1 and 2 respectively. So I went with Victini. It's a great Pokemon. I've used it before. It is so good. V-Create, base 180 power, best fire move in the game other than maybe Sacred Fire. You could argue that because it has a 50% chance to burn, but V-Create hits very hard, especially with the Fire EMZ. Of course, Victini is going to be our very first Z-Crystal eligible Pokemon. It gets Initiative and U-Turn. It gets things like Shadow Ball on the special side, as well as Energy Ball, Psychic, Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam, Focus Blast. So this thing can be either physical or special. It can also be kind of like a support Pokemon with things like Will-O-Wisp, Taunt. It gets T-Wave, which would be very good for us because I need a little bit of speed control on my team because I didn't have the best draft speed tier-wise. But I feel like all of our offensive and defensive weapons can hopefully make up for the fact that my speed tiers are absolute booty. So let's go ahead and just hope that that's the case. Otherwise, we're probably going to be screwed, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, Victini, Michael Victini here, looking to put down some dogs. That's horrible. Base 100 stats across the board. You know, he's one of the Pixie-Mons with Mew and Celebi and all them. So what are you going to expect from this thing? It's really good. It can hit you on either side. Again, it can be even more of a support Pokemon. Very versatile, and I'm looking for it to put in a lot of work this season. Up next, we have a Pokemon that pairs very well with Victini. Here we have our Tapu Fini. Tapu all over our opponents, whatever that means. Ability is Misty Surge, which of course gives you the Misty Terrain on the field, which weakens Dragon-type moves, which kind of irrelevant for Tapu Fini because the Fairy typing, you know, Dragon-type moves are already not a problem. But I suppose if I wanted to switch into a different Pokemon, that could really help us. So weakens Dragon-type moves and nullifies any status moves. So if someone tries to Toxic me and I switch into my Tapu Fini on the Toxic, nothing happens. Okay. Same thing with T-Wave and Will-O-Wisp and all sorts of moves. Even secondary status effects like Sludge Bomb. If someone wants to Sludge Bomb my Tapu Fini because it's special, you know, it's super effective, I will not get poisoned from that. So Misty Surge is going to be very good for us, making sure we don't have to deal with any sorts of hacks from the status ailments. I'm so sick of them. Holy crap. I'm done with it. Tapu Fini is here. It gets things like Nature's Madness, which is essentially Super Fang Fairy types. It cuts their HP in half. Calm Mind for setup, which can be pretty good as well. This thing's already really bulky on the special side. Well, just all around, I guess. Its physical defense is 115. Its special defense is 130, which is great. So after one Calm Mind, not only is this thing going to be like that much harder to get rid of, but its special attack is at 95, and it'll make it that much more powerful as well, which is very good for us. Speed's not bad at 85. It should outspeed most other bulky Pokemon. But the real reason why I got this thing, there are two real reasons, honestly. Defog and Taunt. Defog's huge. Obviously, Victini's weak to Stealth Rocks and switches in, takes 25%. I don't want to deal with that. Defog, get in there, Victini, we're good. The second thing is Taunt. Now, I have a problem on this team, as I said, with speed tiers. I do not want a Pokemon that is faster than my Pokemon setting up on me, and me having nothing I can do about it. So Taunt is going to be very important for us, especially when it comes to other walls, like a fortress switches in. I want to Taunt it, make sure it can't get up rocks or anything, make sure it can't get up a Leech Seed, make sure it can't do this or that. Same thing with Celesteela, same thing with Skarmory, you know, all those really annoying kind of stally mons. I want to make sure that they can't do their thing. That way I can get in a Victini and then put in a little bit of damage on whatever they want to switch into. Taunt's going to be huge. I have a lot of Pokemon with the capability to Taunt. Right now we already have two, Victini and Tapu Fini. They can both bring Taunt. They both have the ability to do so. They're both probably going to do it sometime throughout the season. But yeah, that's just going to be a big part of my game plan here. So between Taunt, Misty Terrain, and then something else we're going to see later on, we really don't have to worry about status at all, unless I just play bad. So there's that. Of course, it gets dual stab with things like Surf and Hydro Pump and Moon Blast, all that fun stuff. It also gets Shadow Ball and Ice Beam, so decent coverage here. Also, don't be surprised if I bring dual screens and like a light clay or something, because this also has the capability to do that, which is fantastic for us as well. So probably going to be doing that at least once or twice. You can see leftovers on this thing. You can run choice spec set. You can run AV if you want. Why not? It's just a very good Pokemon. I like Tapu Fini. It pairs very well with Victini. So, and the next Pokemon here is going to be completing our Fire, Water, Grass core. I think this Pokemon matches so well with the first two. This is going to be our Mega Venusaur. Dank the Mega Venusaur is here. Look at his stats. 80 HP, 100 attack, 123 defense, 122 special attack, 120 special defense, and 80 speed. Not one bad stat on the board. Of course, it's a little slow with the 80 speed, but like, look how thick he is. Just look how thick. You can't leave a thick fat. Just look at the thick fat on this thing. Of course, thick fat take half from fire and ice moves, effectively nullifying two of our biggest weaknesses, leaving only flying and psychic. And we handle both of those pretty well with the rest of our draft, so I'm not too worried about those either. But yeah, this thing is an absolute monster. I love Mega Venusaur. We've used it before. It gets things like Sleep Powder, which if I use correctly around the Misty Surge and Misty Terrain, can actually be very beneficial to us. It gets Dual Stab, of course, with things like Giga Drain or Energy Ball and Sludge Bomb. It can also hit pretty hard from the physical side. You know, this thing gets access to Sword Dance. It gets Earthquake, Knockoff, Bullet Seed, Power Whip. A lot of good options there for this. And also, it runs Synthesis, and it runs Leech Seed. Leech Seed especially is going to be very good for our Pokemon, because neither Victini or Tapu Fini get any sort of reliable recovery. So just to be able to suck some health from an opponent's Pokemon and give it to potentially like a Tapu Fini to make sure it's just healthier longer is going to be amazing. It's going to be exactly what we need in order to win a lot of matches. So Mega Venusaur is good. We all know what it does. It's been here for a while. It's just a really good Pokemon. It pairs perfectly with the other two. So I'm very excited to be bringing that. I feel like this is going to be a very good Fire, Water, Grass core. And up next, we have an answer for those pesky Psychic types, and that is Penis Nose, our Crocodile, holding the Dark EMZ because, of course, he is our second Z Crystal holder. Two great abilities, Intimidate and Moxie. If you know anything about Salamence, then you know anything about Intimidate and Moxie. They're both really good. Intimidate, of course, lowering my opponent's attack stat by 1 upon my switch in. And then Moxie, every time Crocodile knocks out an opponent's Pokemon, its attack stat raises by 1. So Scarf Moxie is a very good set to run on this thing, as well as even like a bulky Stealth Rock set, because this thing does get access to Stealth Rocks. We can lower the attack stat, get a Stealth Rock, and switch out and still be okay. It also gets Dragon Tail to go with the Stealth Rocks as well. So we can set up a Stealth Rock, we can hit Dragon Tail, phase something out, do a little bit of damage to it, and then bring something else in, have the Stealth Rocks do some damage to that, and just start swapping some Pokemon around, hazard stack them, hit them with the Dragon Tail if we need to, really damage our opponent's Pokemon that way. We also get Edgequake, which is really good considering we are a ground type, so we have Stab Earthquake. Edgequake, of course, hits almost everything, like almost everything. That's great. And whatever that doesn't hit, Stab Knockoff will. Stab Knockoff is going to be huge for us. Of course, we also have the ability to go for like a Crunch or a Pursuit. And to be honest with you, I think Crunch is kind of irrelevant. I would much rather not run Knockoff and risk hitting something that has already lost its item and not doing as much to it, but also have that added bonus of finally knocking something off, getting rid of its item, and then doing even more damage. So Knockoff is a much better move than Crunch, obviously. But Pursuit might make an appearance or two here and there, just because it's great to trap some things like pesky ghost types that might want to switch out on us because it can't really do anything. Just Pursuit it, it's dead, it's gone, it's out of the way. Same thing with Psychic types that really could damage our Mega Venusaur there. Pursuit them, get them out of the way. I don't want to deal with them. It's going to be really good for us as well. So this is our Z Crystal Holder, and a couple big reasons for that. One is Z Outrage hits like a friggin' truck. Z Superpower hits really hard. Z Iron Tail hits really hard. Z Aqua Tail hits really hard. Z Stone Edge hits like a truck as well. Z Earthquake kills everything that it hits. It just has a lot of good options when it comes to Z move. When it comes to its Z move pool. So that's something that we're going to really experiment with this season. 95 HP, 117 attack, 80 defense, 65 special attack, 70 special defense, and 92 speed. So it's not very impressive on the special side, but on the physical side, it is pretty good. Especially if we run like what we have here with the max HP, max defense, impish nature with an intimidate drop. We are very solid on the physical side. So that's something that we can be bringing this season as well, with Stealth Rock, with Dragon Tail, with things like that. Up next, we have our third and final Z move holder, or Z move user. I was going to say Z Crystal holder, but like same thing. Anubis, our Lucario here. A couple of decent abilities depending on the situation. Justified is probably going to be the one that we go to the most. But if we go against something like a Mega Medicham or a Mega Lopunny, which we know has Fake Out, something like that is known to flinch some Pokemon, maybe like a Jirachi or something, we might run Steadfast. Just because that added boost to our speed, if flinched, which we probably will flinch if we're going up against one of these Pokemon, is incredible for us because we only have 90 base speed. I wish this was higher. If this was base 100, this Pokemon would be so much better, but it's not, so we have to work with what we've got. 90 base speed, not the best. 70 defenses across the board. 110 attack, 115 special attack. So it can hit from either side, which is good. It also has 3 different forms of setup. You can set up the speed with agility, you can set up the special attack with Nasty Plot or Calm Mind, and you can set up the physical attack with Swords Dance. So this thing, very unpredictable, can do pretty much whatever it wants, set up whatever it wants, hit you whichever way it wants. Dual stab from each side, of course, things like Force Sphere and Focus Blast, Flash Cannon. On the special side, it also gets things like Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse as well. Of course, the hidden powers, every Pokemon gets those. Shadow Ball, a couple surprising things like that, like Psychic. I didn't know it had Psychic until I drafted it, to be perfectly honest. Like, I didn't know. So yeah, it can be a really big threat from the special side as well as the physical side here. And the big thing about running physical Lucario, or even mixed Lucario, you have a lot of forms, not a lot, but you have enough forms of priority to BS your way through a match, you know what I mean? So you can set up an SD, you can have a bullet punch, you can have extreme speed, and really that plus close combat, or maybe like Earthquake, that's all you need, and you have a good Lucario set depending on your opponent's team. So this is something that's really going to help us out, especially since we're only 90 base speed, to have two really good forms of priority, Stab Bullet Punch and Extreme Speed after an Earthquake, or not after an Earthquake, but after Swords Dance really does do wonders for Lucario. So I can see this thing doing a lot of work for us. That's why I wanted to give it the Z Crystal, because if we set up an agility with Z Crystal, Z Iron Tail or something, it's going to hit really hard, and it's going to be really difficult for our opponent to do anything about this if it gets an agility set up, especially if we get like a dual dance kind of scenario going on with agility and swords dance, you know what I mean? Like, you just can't beat Lucario at that point. Unless you have like really strong Mach Punch, which is something that might do the trick, but yeah, it's just this can put in a lot of work, and I'm really expecting it to this season, so I'm looking forward to it. Up next is another steel type. We drafted it immediately after Lucario. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but I realized that I really didn't have much to worry about on the fire, well, with the fire typing. Of course, Fortress here, 4 times weak to fire. Lucario there is 2 times weak to fire, but other than that, I resist fire pretty well. Victini resists it, Tapu Fini definitely resists it. Fire, for the most part, doesn't want to do too much to Crocodile, and of course, the thick fat ability on our Mega Venusaur makes sure we can tank fire-type moves relatively easily. So I didn't feel too bad about getting Fortress, especially because I needed something with Rapid Spin, and I needed something with Hazard stacking possibilities. So this gives us our second form of Hazard removal, which is great for our Victini with Rapid Spin, which is better than Defog, and it also gives us another Stealth Rock user. So this is our second one with Crocodile, but it gives us a Spikes and T-Spikes user, which is great as well. Fantastic. Not sure how many times I'm going to bring Toxic Spikes, because Tapu Fini does make sure that they won't do anything anyway. But I could see myself bringing them just to make sure I can get one up, and then get at least 1 or 2 Pokemon poisoned before I go into Tapu Fini and make sure I can't get status back or something like that. So that's good. That's exactly what we needed. It also gets things like Gyro Ball, it gets Volt Switch, so another form of initiative here, and it runs Explosion too. So this thing has its sturdy ability, and in this league we made sure that all berries, even the unreleased ones, are legal. Just the only gem that's allowed is normal gem. So whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to complain though, because that gives us Custat Berry. Custat Berry, Sturdy Explosion from a Fortress is going to do a lot of damage to something, and I'm thankful for that. So thanks, Trip. You're the man. We also get things like Earthquake here, just your standard physical attacking moves. Rock Slide. You don't want to do anything on the special side, of course, because 60 special attack. And we also have 60 special defense, which is bad. Which is really bad. But our physical defense is 140. Tremendous physical defense. And our attack's not that bad either at 90. So, this thing is just, it's just here for the physical side, right? Just same thing as Crook if I want to run both the Crook. Take on all the physical attacks you could ever want to take on. And of course, Sturdy gives us an opportunity to do something at the end too, just in case we do get destroyed with one hit. So that is our Fortress there. I can see myself bringing it more times than not. It's a solid Pokemon. I feel like it pairs really well with my team just because of the hazards and hazard control. Alright, so let's get into the second half of our team here. GPL 2, here we go. We have Slime Shady, our Goodra. This was the Pokemon that I was expecting. Not really expecting, but I was debating on making this as a user as well. It was either this or Crook, because I knew I wanted Lucario to be one. It was either this or Crook. I ultimately went with Crook because it is faster, I guess. I felt like its move pool is not really more diverse, but I felt like I could utilize it better as a Z crystal holder than Goodra. So we're just bringing regular Goodra. Slime Shady, you could run the choice specs with this thing, you could run Assault Vest on this thing. Both of those are very, very, very prominent in the current ladder and the current meta. Probably AV more so than choice specs, but I still like choice spec Goodra. You can run E-Belt, things like that, the boosting plates. Even like a Life Orb scenario wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, we get Stab Draco Meteor, which is fantastic. We get Volt Beam with Thunderbolt, Ice Beam. We get Fire Blast. So pretty much all the coverage you could ever want from the special side. And as far as this physical side goes, you get things like Aqua Tail. You get things like Dragon Tail to phase things out again. You get Fire Punch. You get Power Whip, which is good. Of course, on the special side, you also get Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave. Physical side, again, you get Thunder Punch, you get Rock Slide, Super Power. So, yeah, a lot of good diversity there in the move pool. So that's one reason why I wanted to run Z Goodra. Plus, I just thought it'd be funny to run Z Goodra because it's not really one of those Pokemon you think of as a Z move holder. Usually because it's Assault Vest or because it's Choice Spec. But I felt like that it really didn't matter because it has the move pool to work, As far as its stats go, really not one bad stat in the bunch. 90 HP, 100 attack, 70 defense, which is at best. 110 special attack, 150 special defense, and then not 180. Wow, I wish. And then 80 speed. So 80 speed's not too bad. 70 defense is kind of bad, but it makes up for it with that enormous special defense stat and relatively good HP stat. It can hit from the physical or special side, of course. They're very similar, and this thing is a really, really good Pokemon. You don't even need to invest anything in the special defense. If you put an AV on this thing, you can make this max special attack, modest, max HP, run 4 special attacks. You're going to hit things incredibly hard, and you're also going to be able to take whatever hit you want on the special side because AV, you don't need any investment. And that's why I love Goodra. It allows you to put investment where you need it and where you want it because the special attack or special defense is already just pretty much taken care of if you run Assault Vest on it. So that's Goodra. This is a great Pokemon. I love this Pokemon. I'm going to be bringing it a lot. I forgot about its abilities here. Gooey is probably the one we're going to be bringing the most. And when I say probably, I mean it is the one we're going to be bringing the most. Pokemon making contact with it have their speed lowered by 1 stage. Speed control, speed control, speed control. I know it's not very good on the physical side, but if we can take a hit, and I know we can take a hit, and it lowers... excuse me. And it lowers the opponent's speed. That's terrific. That's what we want. That's what we need. And the other two just kind of have to deal with, special occasions, right? Hydration. I don't have any water, I don't have any rain on my team, and I really don't feel like it's necessary to run hydration anyway because we have the Misty Terrain. And Sap Sipper, I don't have too many grass weaknesses. I think I have 1. So Sap Sipper is kind of irrelevant as well, unless I'm predicting like a Ferrothorn to want to go for Leech Seed over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So maybe Sap Sipper once in a while, but most of the time it's going to be Gooey. It is its best and most useful ability, in my opinion at least. So that's a Slime Shady. Up next we have Fleshlight, our Electros, with 1 ability, Levitate, of course. Electric typing with Levitate. Essentially has 0 weaknesses unless you're going up against like a Terravolt user, or Terravolt or Mold Breaker Pokemon like Excadrill or Pyram Black, or if you're going up against Zygarde, because 1,000 Arrows, which is annoying and kind of sucks to deal with. But, again, this thing runs Assault Vest, Life Orb, Belt, E-Belt. You can run plates if you want, I suppose. You don't really see it too often with any choice item, but, of course, I might run one every once in a while, like a choice Specs or a choice Band. This thing, I feel like it's better on the physical side, to be honest with you, because, it is technically 115 physical attack, 105 special attack. 80 on both defenses, 85 HP, 50 speed. So I feel like it's better on the physical side just because its move pool is better, I think. Thunder Punch is your only physical stab move, unfortunately. So in that regard, it would be better on the special side. But it gives you U-turn as well as Volt Switch. So if you wanted to go either or, it really gives you that option of initiative there. The reason why I like it so much on the physical side, however, is because Knockoff and Drain Punch. This is what, like our third or fourth Knockoff user. Knockoff is the best move in this format, especially since we have the Misty Surge, so we don't have to worry about Scald Burns. Knockoff is the best move we could possibly run. And Drain Punch just gives us recovery. Right? Like, you're not going to argue with recovery. This is our only form of recovery. Majority of the time, I don't think it gets anything else. I really don't think it gets anything else. So this is our only form of recovery is Drain Punch. And it's a good move. It's a really good move. So, yeah, but other than that, we do have things like T-Wave for speed control. We have Super Power if we want to hit a bit harder than Drain Punch and not worry about our health. Rock Slide, of course. Power Up Punch for gains. And Fire Punch, you know, just Aqua Tail, that kind of stuff. Acrobatics even if we want to try and do something fun there. But, yeah, so a lot of stuff on the physical side. On the special side, we have Acid Spray, Dragon Pulse. Discharge can be pretty good with the chance to paralyze Pokemon. Flamethrower and Flash Cannon are probably going to be two of the moves we bring every time we bring Special Electros because they pair very well with each other. Oh, I lied. We do have Giga Drain as a form of recovery, so there's that. I don't think it's as good as Drain Punch. Signal Beam could be decent. Of course, Thunderbolt for stab. Volt Switch, as I already said. So, just looking through the moves, it does seem that physical Electros is better. Plus, it gives you a chance to set up on the physical side with Coil, so it raises your attack and defense and accuracy by 1, which is great. Yeah, this is our Electros. I think this is a really cool Pokemon. I've always loved Electros. I might not bring it as often as I probably should, because it's our only electric type, so I should probably be bringing it almost every week. But we have kind of a ground weakness on this team. And I was trying to mitigate that by bringing some Levitate users, as well as a flying type, which I did in the very, very end of the draft. But, yeah, so, again, Mold Breaker, Terravolt, and Zygarde just stop this thing in its tracks when it comes to Levitate. So if I ever run into any of those, I'm probably not going to bring it, because I have no other option but to run Levitate. Will be absolutely useless against teams with those Pokemon. So, I guess we'll see. Our next Pokemon is another Levitate user. That is Hocus Pocus, our Miss Magius. Again, Levitate, only ability this thing has. You're going to see this a lot with either Choice Scarf or Choice Specs, because that's just what it runs best with. As you can see, it's just really, really frail and terrible on the physical side. Only 60 HP, 60 attack, 60 defense. But has 105 everything else, so 105 special attack and special defense and speed. So another kind of Glass Cannon-esque Pokemon here. The 105 speed is good. The 105 special attack is also good. Its move pool is decent. Decent. It has setup with Calm Mind. Does it get Nasty Plot as well? Yes, it does. It gets set up with Calm Mind and Nasty Plot, so that's good for us. It gets things like Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, you know, just your standard coverage moves. I believe it also gets Thunderbolt, Power Gem, Psychic, yeah, so a decent amount of coverage moves there. It gives us another Taunt user, which is fantastic. Another Trick user, Will-O-Wisp, T-Wave, so, you know, a lot of support moves like that, especially Heal Bell, which I think is probably one of the more important support moves on this thing, other than maybe T-Wave because of the speed control. But Heal Bell is going to be great for us because this plus Misty Surge means there are going to be no status ailments against my team. I'm so sick of the friggin' hacks from being paralyzed, or the random burns from nowhere from a flamethrower, you know what I mean? Or the freezes from ice beams to 10%. That always seem to happen when I don't want them to. Heal Bell, thank the Lord I have it. Holy crap, I don't want to have to deal with any of this crap ever again. But also, Choice Scarf Destiny Bond's fun. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, that's our Hocus Pocus. That's why I drafted it. I felt like it was a good fit for our team. It's also a Ghost type, which is good for you know, spin blocking, that kind of stuff. So that's our Hocus Pocus. Our next Pokemon is someone that I know that we all have, that we all are familiar with from our very first season on YouTube, I think, or was it our second? I don't remember. Top Keck is here, the Kecleon. We drafted him again because I didn't learn my lesson the first time. I just love this thing. I love Kecleon so much. Of course, Life Orb, Expert Belt, that's AV. That's probably all you're going to be running it with. But the Protean ability is still fantastic. You get a lot of priority with things like Sucker Punch, Fake Out, Shadow Sneak, and of course you change to those typings, which means it's always Stab. Sucker Punch Stab is fantastic. And, you know, it gives you the ability to play around the typings of your opponent. They have to guess what moves you're going to be going for. And with so many forms of priority, it makes it easy for you to play around your opponent's typing. So I feel like I misused Kecleon a bit last season. He put in a lot of work in a couple of games there. I know he got quite a bit of action, but yeah, I feel like I could use him a bit better if I used him a little more sparingly. So that's why he's here this time. I want to plug and play Kecleon if I see that he can do a lot of things for us in a certain match. Gives us another Stealth Rock user, which is great. Of course, Drain Punch for recovery. I think it gets all of the elemental punches. I'm pretty sure it gets all of the elemental punches. Let me check before I make an ass of myself. I know it gets Fire Punch. Does it get Ice Punch? Yes, it does. And Thunder Punch. Yes. Okay, so it gets all of the elemental punches, which is cool. A lot of good coverage there. I already said Shadow Sneak. You get Shadow Claw. Gets Rock Slide. You know, it has a lot of coverage. Power Up Punch for gains. Nasty Plot. Sure. That'd be absolutely useless, but why not? Too bad this thing doesn't get Sword Dance. This thing could actually be a force record with that Sword Dance. But oh well. Yeah, it's just a good Pokemon that can change to its typing to the typing of the move it uses, and it's really good because of all of the priority it has, which means it has priority type changes. I love that idea. I think it's great. Its stats are lacking, as you can see. Its best stats is special defense at 120, then attack at 90. So could be better, but you know, what are you gonna do? It's a Kecleon, right? I mean, top Keck. Next and finally is our Ancient Verb, our Archeops here. I had to pick it up. I had to. I needed something with higher than 105 speed. And 110 was the best on the board, and this is the most viable Pokemon that was left at the very end of the draft. So, the thing with Archeops, of course, the defeatist ability is terrible. It says when you get below half health, its attack and special attack are both halved, but its speed remains the same. That's important. Its speed remains the same. This is going to be outspeeding a lot of Pokemon on the field at base 110. You know, you make this thing, I don't know what, like timid, probably, right? Or jolly. Make this thing jolly. It's hitting 350 speed, which is good. That is good. That's a good speed. So that's going to be great. You can use it as like a sack rocks lead, you know. You put like a citrus berry on it. You could put, to get health back, you could put a sash on this thing and then run Stealth Rock Tailwind and just let it die turn 2, but give a lot of initiative to your team and really give a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. But make sure your team can do a bit better than from there and on. Like for turn 1 Stealth Rock, get hit, go to Sash. Turn 2 Tailwind, get hit, die, and then your next Pokemon can come out like a Victini under Tailwind is disgustingly terrifying. So that's the idea here. We also get Stab Stone Edge, we get Earthquake on this thing. Roost is actually so good on this Pokemon because not only does it get its health back, but it also gets it out of defeatist range, meaning your attack and special attack return to where they once were. 140 attack is tremendous, and even if it's for one move, it's going to put a dent in something. Of course, running like a Citrus Berry or what is it, Agua Berry, something like that, it's going to be great with this Pokemon because it restores it back to out of defeatist range, and then it frees up your item slot so you can run things like Acrobatics, which hit pretty hard. You get thief on this thing. You get another taunt user, which is great. U-turn as well for initiatives. Then headbutt for coverage moves. No thief. Okay, another knockoff user as well. Forgot to say that. Bone claws to raise your accuracy and your attack as well. So this thing can be pretty versatile as long as we use it correctly. I hope I use it correctly because I feel like I have a game plan with this thing. You get up your tailwinds. That will help. That'll just fix my speed for like 3 turns. That'll fix my speed problem for 3 turns. So I know my speed tiers were bad, but I made sure I had ways of helping that. A lot of Thunder Wave users. I have a Tailwind user here. A lot of very viable Scarfers, and then also priority on a couple of different mons. So I feel like that should, in theory, help us in the long run. If not, then we can look at changes that can be made and maybe switch some things around. But I'm feeling like this is a good team. I feel like this can put in a lot of work for us, and I'm really expecting it to, because I took quite a bit of time in trying to figure this out. But yeah, anyway, that's our team. Leave a comment below saying how well you think we'll do this season. I think we only have, what is it, like 6? I don't remember how many weeks. I don't remember how many weeks we're doing. I'll be honest. I don't know. 8 maybe. I don't know. But I'll keep you updated on that. I think not this coming weekend, but the next weekend is when they start uploading team builders and battles. So keep an eye out for that as well. Make sure you're subscribed for that. Hit the little bell if you want to be notified of that. So Saturday will be team builders. Sunday will be the battles. Starting not this weekend, but the next weekend. This week we're doing like it's like a prelim battle kind of thing. There's 2 divisions. We're having interdivision matches right now. Just get used to our teams. I'm not sure if I'm going to upload that, but if I do, it will be up this Saturday and Sunday respectively. So keep an eye out for that as well. But until then, guys, my name is Shoquafina. Thank you for supporting this channel and watching this video. Until next time, I'm out.